Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell. Jingle bells ring and jingle bells ring. And hello, everyone.
Hello. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Before we sit down, we are the group A and we will be here to present academic communications.
So before we start, Gwen, will you have your introductory remark?
Yes. So after our jingle bell rock field entrance, now we will be delving into an acting workshop. So we have here the trending right now, Stop on TikTok, which is OPTS workshop stop, which is the Hayop ka! May araw ka rin! Pumumula ka sa inferno! So kailangan lahat tayo sa group natin, makakapag-present tayo before we actually engage with our audience to present themselves.
So let us all first start with sino left? Jerod. Grabe. Paano na ba ang workshopping on PPS? So let me play as the role of a PPS. So oh yes. Masakit ka namin. Tapos look yourself in the mirror. Internalize.
Second group, listen ah.
Your side. The line. Yeah, that's the first person who will choose the line. Next, second. Second. We will call on Stay Alexandra the leader. How to recite the line of OPTS.
Dito ba? Parang yung picture. May araw ka rin. Ano mabubulong ka sa impyerno?
Excellent! Bravo! And next one will be Melvin Jr. Yeah. Let's go. Internalize and recite the line. Sorry.
Hayop ka? Bumubulo ka sa impyerno. Hayop ka? Bumubulo ka sa impyerno.
Last. Third time's the charm.
Hayop ka? May araw ka rin. Bumubulo ka sa impyerno.
Nice tea. And now let us all move on. Wait. Let's now read the presentation from the hostess. Yeah. So I need the presenter. Okay. Lumuhod ka din. Lumuhod mo. Okay. Full obedience impression, ha? Okay, gauge. Hayop ka! May araw ka rin! Bumubulong ka sa impyerno! Kulang pa na. Isa pa na. Hayop ka! May araw ka rin! Bumubulong ka sa impyerno! Very good, very good. Great for now to the line of obedience. And now let us move on to the professional acting workshop. Let us give it up for Miss Jean Kylie. Go up! Let's go! Woo! Warm round of applause. Easy ako na, tigil mo na malabas. Either of time. Let's start the lights. And this time. version of the line. Thank you, Miss Gwen. And now that we have witnessed the different lives of the famous obedience, let us now move on to our program proper.
Okay, so I hope that everyone went on with the icebreaker session that we had earlier, in which we have showcased the acting skills of everyone. So, ano ba? Pag kami nakita kayo, kunwari, nag-approach siya niya bigla, tapos sinabi sa inyo, ayaw na! Ma-appreciate ka ba yun? Hindi lang kami i-approach. Yung parang kampanin na, ano mo siya sabihan natin? Sino ka? Diba? So, in that, pwede natin sabihin na communication is really a two-way process. In which kailangan, alam natin yung konteksto ng mga pinagsasabi, kausap natin. Hindi yung i-approach lang natin sila out of the blue, saying things that they're not inclined to understand. Like, makausap tayo, lang mo sasabihin na, may araw pa rin. So, parang walang context, then out of the blue, sasabihin ko yun sa'yo, and ikaw, you'll be left clueless. So, with that, hindi effective yung communication. So, for our session for today, you'll be learning different techniques on how to enhance our communication techniques. And in order for us to effectively communicate with the people around us. So with that, I will be presenting the presenters for today. Mr. Orcullo, yours truly, Ms. Bergado, Ms. Divina, Mr. Ramos, and Ms. Velasquez.
Yeah. So as we move on to the next part of our program, syempre hindi mawawala yung mga skills natin in order for us to really dedicate and understand how effective communication really works in our professional setup, in place, in the work environment, in the school, and other places more. So for the lights, camera, and action, we will be going to have a movie game that will be played by our not presenters, but by our audiences.
Yeah.
So are you guys ready? Are you guys ready? So we have prepared some of the famous lines from the movies. So Divina, stop. Stop. So Divina Jasper, will you please be here on stage?
Show me that.
And you will be live. Yeah. So how would you act the line? The famous line from the movie.
Siyempre galing.
May great job. Yes.
Ano? Masarap ba? Masarap ba yung asawa ko? Masarap ba? Paano ko siya hindi? Ha? Ano yung... Ano ko nung sinagay? Yung bra mo? Yung pati mo? O yung konsensya mo?
The angry reaction, the angry emotion of the communication. That's kind of best. And next line is. So, Right. Papa P. So yung context nito, nag-aaway sila ng jowa niya. So paano mo kung sasabihin sa akin, diba na kayo jowa?
I deserve an explanation. I deserve an acceptable reason.
That's the right thing. Thank you, Mr. Adam. And next one is another famous line. Stop. Nice one. Yes, we're choosing that people. So you will be reciting the line of Is to be seated on stage. Yeah. si Regine. Okay, kasi pinay yung ayos.
Ikaw sa pagka.
Wala akong ginagawa masama!
Akala ko lang! Sakit mo pa mo.
Feeling ko mas maganda kapag si Regine Yan, okay.
Walang kaway-kaway.
Yan.
Uy, ma!
So, dalawa ko lines here. Kasi dalawa.
Eh, nakasakit.
O, sige. O, sige.
Wala kami talaga. Wala ka sabi ko, hindi naman masama.
Akala mo lang wala! Pero meron! Meron!
That's the correct line. Next one, the last, no, we have 3 more left. 3 more?
Sana kami sa isla. Sana kami sa si...
Okay, Miss Leah Boren. What are you reciting the line of? Thank you, Brandon Chan. From Miss Nora Lamore. Wait, bro. Salty pig. I'm going now. Di ba sila mo? Ayun. Pagdalay mo. Pagdalay mo.
My brother is not happy. Ang kapatid ko ay ako. Hindi pa pinalok.
And now we move on to the last 2 of our skits. We'll be having from our presenters. So, sino yung gusto nyo? We are democratic here. So, sino gusto nyo mag-present?
Yung nakaway. Si Melvin.
Ito ang naka-white. So, sino siya?
Si Melvin.
Naka-jacket daw.
Yung itakay dito na.
Melvin! I do believe na magagawa niya itong role na ito kasi fit talaga sa kanya.
Grabe ka na, hindi man.
And the famous line goes on with...
Uy!
Probably right on you.
Mga magpapal tao. Huwag din.
Grabe na ulit.
Negosyo o kalayaan. Bayan o sarili.
Hindi ka. Hindi ka.
Pumili ka!
Negosyo o kalayaan. Bayan o sarili. Pumili ka.
Yan. And now we move on to our last. Let us all give a warm round of applause again for Miss Jean Kylie. So we're casting. We're casting for. So we have 3 trials for this. The first one is, ano, dapat lively siya. Tapos meron naman isang version na hikain naman bar, tapos meron isang version na toned down. Throw back to the gun. Throw back to the gun. Now, we have to witness from our audiences. Ayan, so, hikay. Hikay, masyadong barely yung tone. Yung delivery ng message. That's a guy who is going to run.
Ang napiyang ba?
to the young and
Ikay.
Yeah. Let's cheer it up for her, guys.
Come back to the young and beautiful you.
Yo! Calm down naman, calm down version. Yung parang you're promoting yourself in a business setup. Come back to the young and beautiful you.
Come back to the young and beautiful you.
Ayan! And now, papalitan naman natin yung isang version. The last one. Gusto namin makita yung Thea version. Thea version namin.
Anong Thea version? Parang famous version.
Thea version namin.
Anong Thea version? Thea version ba yun?
Kung paano ko sasabihin? Kung sasabihin ka.
Ah. Ano? Okay na yun.
Okay.
Okay na yun.
Sige.
Isang version na lang. Isang version na lang.
Ano gusto niyo? Ano gusto niyo version?
Hot version.
Ha?
Hot version.
Okay.
May version.
Mayonnaise.
Tayo tubig. Wait. Siri. Welcome back to the young and beautiful you. And that's the last part of our skit segment, and now we move on to realizing and understanding the effective communication. So we know that effective communication leads us to a wider perspective, understanding more projects, understanding more concepts of communication, in which this leads us not just about us talking to other people, but talking to ourselves even so. So talking to ourselves with the effective communication usage not just only builds the rapport to our environment, but also gives us an environment or a room for improvement to further advance and improve our relationship with other friends, with other family relatives, and also in our workplace. So as we move on for the effective communication, there are 7 benefits that we can apply as being the effective communicator. So first one is this leads to right information. So with the usage of the effective communication that leads to right information, syempre we as a student journalist, we as a youth, kailangan this is a good leverage for us to use the communication that we have. We are taking as a course kasi we have to always be biased with the right information that we give to other people and to the nation as student journalists. So ayun. Minimize conflict resolution kasi in being an effective communicator, we minimize conflict resolution by providing right information, by providing evidences, and by also reflecting to what we are going to say to the people that surrounds us. It is on the matter of the heart and also of the mind. Hindi lang kami sa salita dahil na-feel natin that we have to just say what we have to say. Kailangan ethical siya, kailangan valuable siya, kailangan may morality siya. Next one is, being an effective communicator saves resources and time. Because being an effective communicator, hindi lang, kagaya natin sinabi ko kanina, hindi lang kayo salita ng salita. Kailangan ayusin you have to organize your thought to what you're going to say to the people around you. You have to delineate, understand what are you going to say. Is it relevant ba? Parang masyado sa konteksto na nasa environment tayo. Hindi naman kasi pwede na magsasalita ka ng politics, tapos na nasa religion ka. So we have to understand that there's a separation of church and state. So ayun, yung mga ganong resources and time. And sana lang inaayon natin yung mga sinasabi natin communication dun sa environment na naka-place tayo. Next is, it creates bond. Gaya na nasabi ko kanina, being an effective communicator, you have to be empathetic. You have to have an empathy dun sa mga tao na nakasurround sa'yo. Kasi, kung hindi ka magiging empathetic dun sa tao na nakasurround sa'yo, kapag nag-open up siya sa akin ng mga problems niya, tapos papatungan mo na, ako din, may ganyan akong problem, mas mabigat yung saan. So, parang doon na disrupt yung relationship natin with other people. So, we have to create a bond that is ethical and that is empathetic. Next one is the last 3 benefits of being an effective communicator is it achieves results. It achieves our result to saying what we are going to say na gusto talaga natin iparating. So, kung hindi natin i-consider yung pagiging ethical, yung ipaglalagay natin ng mga communication barriers natin sa setups, hindi natin ma-achieve yung result kasi ang gusto lang naman talaga natin, kaya tayo pinipag-usap sa mga tao, is to create bond and para ipaalam sa kanila kung ano talaga yung solid natin. So, next one is the business habits and building strong relationship. Ayun, so yung building strong relationship also relates, relatable dun sa building a bond, creating a bond with other people. And kapag nagkakaroon kasi tayo ng effective communication, much expected and more likely, makaka-receive tayo ng feedback na healthy, hindi siya nakaka-disrupt din dun sa emotional capacity natin, hindi tayo madadepress, hindi tayo mag-feel sad. Kasi alam natin na nasabi natin na sa sarili natin, sa kanila, yung gusto natin iparating. And now, on the other hand, ano naman, kapag nagkaroon ng poor communication, what are the causes and effects of it? So the poor communication effects are the mixed messages. So yung mixed messages, as a student journalist, alam naman natin present on a daily. So it leads to disinformation, and ma-reflect talaga natin yun kasi dapat, since we are biased for facts, we have to back it up, all the information that we are going to say with evidences. So in order for us to not lead into misinformation. So negative outcome, nag-lead din siya sa poor communication, also strained relationship, and goals are not achieved. So kagaya lang din yung sinabi ko kanina, puro reflection siya and parang siyang antonym ng effective communication kasi nga, kapag hindi ka naging effective communicator, ano mangyayari? Siyempre, magkakaroon ng mixed messages. Tapos hindi mo pa ma-receive yung parang ina-expect mo na outcome, expected results dun sa tao sa the last two is, it creates stress and emotional confusion. So, dun sa poor communication niya, since nag-create siya ng stress, kasi nga hindi mo ma-delegate, hindi mo ma-understand kung ano ba talaga yung gusto mong sabihin sa akin. Kasi nga hindi siya parang verified, hindi siya reliable, tapos hindi siya parang kaaya-ayong pakinggan. Kasi nakaka-affect siya sa mental mo, spiritual and other beings. Nagkakaroon din siya ng emotional confusion kasi hindi mo alam kung ano daw dapat ma-feel mo kapag sinabi niya sa iyo. Kapag sinabi ko sa iyo makikipag-break up, ano dapat mo ma-feel? Tapos nilagyan mo pa siya. Tapos pinatuwan mo kayo na kapag makikipag-break up ka kasi nagkaroon ako ng time constraint, nagkaroon ako ng mga ganun factors. So hindi mo alam ano ma-feel mo. Kung feel bad ka ba, masasad ka ba, magiging happy ka ba kasi naka-escape ka na sa toxic relationship, gano'n. So that leads us to a poor communication patterns. And now, as we move on to the methods of communication, let us give it up for the presentation of Ms. Thea and Alexandra.
Good morning again, everyone. So moving on to the next part of the discussion part in our workshop, let me allow me to present your methods of communication, which I think most of us or all of us are very familiar with them. But I would like to hear from our audience first. Para sa inyo, what is your preferred method of communication? For you, Christy, what is your preferred method of communication? Oral. Oral. So when we say oral, yung verbal. So for you, Regina, what is your preferred method of communication? Writing. Anna, for you?
Oral.
Oral. For you, Anna, Jane?
Oral.
For you? So most of you have said oral. So when we say oral, ito yung kagaya ng sabi ko na verbal. And this is when we verbally say with sounds, with words, kung ano yung gusto natin iparating, kung gusto natin sabihin sa kinakausap natin. Next, we have this yung written communication. So in written communication, ito yung hindi na lang siya sulat hindi na lang siya pencil written or ball pen written. Pwede na rin dito yung texts or chats, which kadalasan pertaining na nagagamit through our calendar. And the third could be the non-verbal communication, kung saan dito pumapasok yung gestures, how we present ourselves, how we present our facial expressions, and all of those could be considered as the three main methods of communication. And for the next, ay pag-usapan naman natin yung types of communicator. So kung kanina, types of communication, ngayon naman is yung mga tao. Yung mga tao gumagamit ng verbal, non-verbal, and written communication. So for the first type, nandito yung example of how people perceive themselves, how people present themselves. So nandito yung mga pronouns like I can help, you are help, he, she, it, itself, we are help, and they are help. So with this, let us perceive or let us understand how these phrases are used by the type of communicator. For the first type of communicator, we have so the passive communicator. So the passive communicator, these people are known as sila yung mga perhaps go with the flow. Mas inuuna nila yung pakiramdam ng ibang tao, yung intention ng ibang tao, yung sinasabi ng ibang tao. Yun yung inuuna nila bukod sa sarili nilang intention, sa sarili nilang perspective. Just to say na they just to put aside yung uncomfiness or yung dominance perspective. However, the downside of this is that napag-iiwanan si passive communicator kasi puro na lang siya, okay, sige, agree na siya ng agree. Passive communicators have they lack the tendency to say no. So nahihirapan sila how to say no kasi iniiwasan nila yung misunderstanding or yung conflict. However, the fact that they don't know how to say no, that they do not learn how to say no, doon na nagkakaroon ng conflict sa communication between one person to another. And then the next. So, based from this picture, since naiipon lang yung moving on to the next type of communicator, we have the aggressive. So, for you guys, what is aggressive? You see, what is aggressive?
Parang galit. Parang inuuna natin yung sarili.
So in Tagalog, ito yung agresibo. Agresibo in a way na gusto niya siya lang yung napapakinggan, gusto niya siya lang yung nagsasalita, gusto niya siya yung bida, siya yung star ng Pasko. Which is also a big no in our process of communication. Kasi nga, gaya na sabi kanina, communication is a two-way process. So in communication, hindi pwede yung ako na lang, or siya na lang. Kailangan napagbibigyan si giver, napagbibigyan din si receiver. And in aggressiveness, ito yung mga tao, they tend to be defensive, they tend to be hostile. Kapag
So, going back, apologies for the technical difficulties, but we are back. So, going back to the art of listening. So, I have mentioned earlier that it is actually very, very important that as a respondent or as a receiver of information, that we're able to listen. So, how does it actually go through? There are actually 5 mentioned ways of actively listening to an individual. As we have tackled many times, one of the key things that we should always remember when we are listening to someone is that we should always try to remain eye contact with them. Because why? Because that means that we are actually indulging or actually digesting the information that they're giving to us. Because why is eye contact important? Eye contact is important not only to the speaker but also to the receiver, because our eyes tell a big story. We can tell a lot from just looking at someone's eyes. We can tell if they're sad, We can tell if they're happy, we can tell if they're angry. So, through that, we can build empathy with with the people that we are listening to. And then, the next step is to always try to pay attention to what they're trying to say. Why? Because oftentimes, no, when we are talking to someone, and then, kunyari ikaw, kausap mo yung crush mo. Tapos, nakita mo siya, tumitingin-tingin siya sa kung saan-saan. Siyempre ikaw, sa sarili mo, mag-overthink ka, wala, hindi niya ba ako gusto? Hindi niya ba ako mahal? Hindi ba siya nakikinig sa akin? Ayaw niya ba ako? Paano ko? So, ang daming thoughts na nabubuo sa isip mo na hindi naman dapat na nabubuo kung sa simpleng bagay lang as to pay attention actually to the person that you're talking to is done, di ba? Kasi nga, mahirap talaga makipag-usap sa tao na kunyari sabihin natin nakatalikod sa'yo, pinakausap mo. Parang anong baliw nun, di ba? So, the art of listening is very, very important. Kasi nga, listening is important. Kasi nga, di ba, meron tayong tinatawag na communication models. Doon natin nakikita na the speaker and the receiver are two of the integral parts of it. Kasi nga, doon natin nakikita, and doon natin, ang communication kasi it's a circle, essentially. Paikot siya. Kasi nga, once we receive the information, there we give our feedback. And paano makakapag-feedback nga? Kung hindi ka naman nakikinig doon sa kinakausap, or kumakausap sa'yo. So, let's go on to the next part, which is with respect to the Philippine Constitution. So, bakit namin pinili ito? Important kasi na tinatatak natin sa isip natin. Kasi yun nga, di ba? Nakikinig tayo. Pero kasi people have the tendency to pick and choose who they listen to. Kasi nga, syempre, kapag yung kinakausap mo, feeling mo mali naman yung sinasabi niya, papakinggan mo pa ba siya? Syempre, hindi na, di ba? Kunyari, ikaw, binigyan ka ng impormasyon. Tapos, yung information, alam mo na mali, pakikinig ka pa ba? Hindi na, di ba? Ikaw, kunyari, sabihin sa'yo ng mama mo, hindi ka niya bibigyan ng baon ng 1 linggo, makikinig ka pa ba? Siyempre, pupunta ka na sa kwarto mo, di ba? Hindi ka na makikipag-usap. So, anong ibig sabihin ng lahat? The thing is, bilang tao kasi, kahit na sabihin natin na ayaw natin sa kausap natin, we as people, innately, bago pa, pinanganak pa lang tayo, lahat talaga tayo is may karapatan magsalita. Hindi na mahalaga kung yung sinasabi mo ba is wala kang pakialam, wala akong pakialam. Kunyari, hindi ko kwento sa akin, hindi ko naman alam yung topic. Siyempre, kahit pa paano, to show kumbaga your empathy or your respect na lang. Hindi na nga empathy, your respect na lang for someone. Kailangan makinig ka. Kasi nga, all people deserve to talk. They deserve to be heard. Kasi once na nawala sa kanila yun, nawala yung boses nila sa kanila, kumbaga, tinatanggalan mo na rin ang pagkatao ng tao. Kasi nga, ang pagkatao ng tao is ang kita not only by how they present themselves, but also how they amplify their emotions. And kaya nga, meron tayong famous quote na narinig from after class actually, na I don't care what you have to say, all I care about is defending the right to say it. Kasi nga, once na ang emotions ng isang tao is na-store, there's a possibility kasi na, there tends to be an aggressive emotion na nabibuild up sa atin na walang may paki sa akin, makapagsarili ka, and ang ending is, ayaw na pag-usapan. But, ang pag-uusapan naman natin para sa susunod ay magmumula kay Mr. Ramos. At bigyan natin siya ng Mr. Ramos.
Alright, kamusta? Good morning. I want you to greet yung katabi niyo. Morning. For example, di ba? In Spanish, we speak, we will, ¿cómo estás? ¿Qué pasa, hermano? What is wrong? So, ang problema mga dinadaanan natin, communication is number one option. We speak, we rely, we tell the truth. And as a journalistic student, communication is important. Why? Because communication is the one who communicates and tell the truth. of the information. So, I have a question sa inyo. Para sa inyo, anong communication?
It's the way of the person to the other person.
Adam,
Understanding each other.
respect you. Regina,
Respected each other.
yes, communication is the way of learning. In each day, no, lahat tayo mga tao, doesn't mean na makakuha tayo ng degree, bachelor degree, no? Yung learning process natin, nag-stop na. Each day, pag nagkaanak na tayo, pag nagkapamilya, communication will still exist. Gaano ka-importante ang communication? So, sabihin na lang natin, sa bawat tao dito sa Pilipinas, in every student here in the class, pumapasok sila, they dress nice, no? They speak. Kasi that's the main function of humanity. So what is the so what do you want and what do you plan to achieve? For example, journalism student ka, and you want to be a broadcaster ka. Number one siya ganyan, maging active ka sa mga participation, no? You speak of knowledge mo dapat doon. Ay yung mga dapat natin pala. And challenges might fix and how we did. Nasa atin yung gawa. Kaya dapat tayo, from human beings, no? Dapat gawin natin kung ano yung mga nararapat. Dapat gawin natin kaano kapunta ng communication. Kasi as a journalism student, nasa atin ang karapatan. Nasa atin ang kalayaan. Maraming salamat.
That marks the end of our report. Thank you very much, Sir